there guys, welcome back to Back Pocket Game Reviews, and today we're going to talk about a relatively sad topic. We're going to talk about the death of Telltale Games. Now, personally, I didn't want to rush this video. That is why mine is going up as late as it is. A lot of people wanted to get it out the day that they released all the employees, but unfortunately more information and more things kept trickling out. Not that it is huge information, but I don't want to have to make a whole bunch of videos saying, what we thought originally was wrong. It's easier to just do one and done. So, Telltale Games was at one point in time one of the largest smaller developers out there. I know that sounds like a weird redundancy, but they've always been a smaller developer. They were very beloved at one point. I would say at the tail end of the 360 genre and the beginning of the PS4 genre, because I guess that's who's in the lead this generation. They were a relatively beloved studio. They were popping out a lot of games that a lot of people really enjoyed. But there's a bunch of reasons why this happened. We're going to talk about what happened, and then I'm going to talk about why I think it happened. So they laid off over 200 people just recently. They now are left with like 25 people working as a skeleton crew, essentially to finish up any prior obligations. Yeah, so this is it. This is legitimately the death of Telltale Games. I mean, there might be the chance that they are just getting rid of everything rather than maybe make some money somewhere else, publishing or something like that, and then eventually come back. But for what it looks like right now, this is going to be the death of Telltale Games. Apparently, after they made the announcement that they were closing the studio, they had all of the employees leave within 30 minutes. 30 minutes after that, it was, nope, you need to get out. Out, out, out. 30 minutes is how long you were notified that your job is now gone. That was your buffer period right there. You have to give it 2 weeks notice if you want to leave. But 30 minutes is all a company has to give you. Well, actually, they don't have to give you any time, but I'm just saying it would have been probably a little better if they would have notified a lot of their staff, said, hey, just please keep this quiet. Obviously, there were some developers that took to Twitter saying, does anyone know of a place that's hiring? I need a job. Story and gameplay is my thing. And it is sad to watch an iconic studio like this kind of crumple. But there are a lot of faults to this, and a lot of them are still Telltale's faults. They are letting people back in, by the way, to, there's, what was it? I think it was this weekend. They had 3 hours. It might be today. Maybe it's tomorrow. But they're letting employees back in for 3 hours to get all their stuff and get the hell out of Dodge. So I assume that's also going to be like their goodbye period. Like, say goodbye to your friends, because you're probably never going to work together in the gaming industry again. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Telltale Games, they make a licensed style game. They don't usually make their own style of character. It is based off of other characters and other worlds and other universes that is then licensed to them. And their game style is of that of a point-and-click adventure game with obvious quick-time interactions mixed in. And I know that doesn't really sound all that intriguing or all that awe-inspiring to a lot of people. It does kind of piss me off that everyone's like, oh, well, now this genre is dead. Really? I mean, because that's the same genre as Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain. I get it. Telltale is gone. The game developer that is pumping these games out left and right, like their Guitar Hero or something, which is a big part of why I believe Telltale Studios is going out of business. When you're making a game here and there, it's special. When you're driving a story, narrative, and a great story at that, it is a special game, but when you're just popping them out, I mean, I'll tell you this way. They have probably more that they've popped out than rabbits do babies in a year. Okay? It's a little overwhelming. With that being said, I do like their games. I've been playing Telltale's games since, well, pretty much close to the beginning for them. I played the Back to the Future game. I played the Jurassic Park game. I played the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead, which is really what got them into the limelight. That show started to take off as they'd gotten the licensing to it right before that show really became a huge deal. And yeah, they got their name right as it was taking off. Their game was dropping. And that's another thing. I've lost interest in The Walking Dead, and I know that their numbers have gone down drastically. So when you look at their numbers dying, and now the big cash cow that was forcing this forward has now gone away as well, I believe that's also going to play a part in that. And don't get me wrong, Telltale Games has popped out some great games over the last 12 months. The new Batman game, The Enemy Within. I absolutely loved the Batman game. However, Telltale stated that that was a game that lost them money. It cost them more to make that game than what they made back on it. And that's shocking, because this is a game studio that's pretty much been using the same engine since the early days of the Xbox 360. While there isn't really a lot that you need to do in these games, their engine was showing its age, and it wasn't running smoothly. There were times where there would be hiccups in these QuickTime events, and the last thing you really want in something like this, like a point-and-click adventure game, in a timed experience where you have a minimal amount of time to hit something, is for there to be a hiccup at all, whatsoever. And I think that's also another thing that played a huge part in why they are no longer at the top of, like, their glory tower. You've been using the same engine. Like, there are so many holes right now in the whole thing, and nope, graphically hasn't really come that far. Just pushing out the same stuff. And don't get me wrong, I didn't play Tales from the Borderlands. I do like Borderlands, but I just never really got to play that one. I do have a free copy and still haven't even played it. But I was really excited for The Wolf Among Us 2, and now I'm not going to get that experience, which is really sad. If you haven't played The Wolf Among Us, you should run out and buy that. It was an awesome game. Easily one of my favorite point-and-click adventure games. It was probably that and their Batman games, which I would say are probably the 2 best ones. The first season of The Walking Dead was incredible. Second season was pretty good. Didn't play anything after that. The second season was just, it's all downhill from here. You just knew by the end of the second season, you're just like, And that's sad, because they did develop a character, Clementine, who becomes this icon throughout the Walking Dead series. I did try playing the Game of Thrones one, because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. The Game of Thrones game, I thought was complete ass. Like, hot garbage ass. You might ask, but why, Nick? I don't like playing as multiple characters. I don't like being forced to switch characters. I don't like being forced to progress the narrative. Just build me into one character. Let me build an attachment to that one character. That's not to fault that game. That is a me thing. I dislike that. I don't like that experience. It's just like why I don't like Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. I don't want to have to switch characters. I want to play as one character. I want to get an attachment to that character. I'm okay if on occasion you're going to have me play as another character just to progress the story from different points of view, sort of like how Spider-Man would randomly give you a mission as Mary Jane that was going on in Spider-Man's world. You know, Spider-Man was already kind of aware this was going on, so you're kind of seeing how that played through, or you get what I'm saying. I just don't like that experience. So, as a huge Game of Thrones fan, I feel like they really missed the huge target on that. Not that's a bad thing. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people that enjoyed that one. I've heard a couple of my friends say they really enjoyed that one. But boy, I mean, I think Telltale really just, their biggest mess up was how much they were pumping out at all times. Like, it was just non-stop. Telltale, Telltale, Telltale. 2 to 3 games a year, just pumping them out. Probably have more illegitimate children than DMX. Boy, that's insane to think about. But it's just like Guitar Hero. At one point in time, Guitar Hero was one of the greatest games. Everyone played Guitar Hero. If you weren't playing Guitar Hero, you were lame. But once they started releasing Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Guitar Hero AC/DC, whatever the hell they decided to pop out, and they just kept popping them out. People don't want to play your game that much. That's also the problem with yearly releases too. If you took a year off, maybe an every other year release, every couple year release, I think your numbers would do a lot better. But I get it. Your numbers do really good every year, and you'd rather have that constant revenue stream. And I do think it is really sad to see Telltale Games go, because there aren't a lot of studios that make point-and-click adventure games. As I said though, there are studios that do it better than Telltale Games. Well, a studio, specifically. If you haven't played Heavy Rain or Detroit Become Human, you're really missing out. Awesome games. So don't think of this as the death of a genre, because Detroit Become Human was a immensely popular game. So was Heavy Rain. But Telltale Games lost their popularity. The Walking Dead stories were kind of keeping them afloat. Minecraft story mode was always kind of a weird thing to see them do. But it's what happens. You eventually branch out too far if all you're worried about is making the money. And I'm not saying they weren't a studio developed on driving and giving you a good story. But corporate end of that was just concerned about how much can we milk money-wise. And when you're not updating the graphics, when you're not giving a new engine, when your gameplay stays the same every single game, and the only difference that changes is the story, yeah, you're bound to fail. It's what's going to happen. It's not going to go very well for you. If you haven't played the Back to the Future game they made, it's pretty good. I'm a big Back to the Future fan, so obviously I went out of my way to play that one. I'm also a huge Jurassic Park fan. Jurassic Park game's pretty good. I wouldn't call it their best. If you were interested in playing them, they're not bad. I would probably still say their best games are the Batman games and Wolf Among Us. But that's also, I'm a big Batman fan, so I might be biased. Guys, I would love to hear what you guys think about the death of Telltale Games down below. Obviously, I don't think we're ever going to see them reemerge. I don't really foresee a lot of companies jumping at the bit to finish any of their games or to buy out something off of them. Again, their engine is extremely dated. I don't really see them having a lot of equity to spin off during liquidation to try to maybe make a comeback or stay out of bankruptcy or any of that stuff. It's sad. Part of the reality of game developing is a very expensive thing, and if you keep failing at it, you're gonna go under. Another great example of that would actually be Kingdoms of Amalur. I absolutely loved that game. It's a game I actually even own on PC. That's how much I love that game. I really wish they'd bring it to the Switch. Like, if I could have any game backwards compatible that I'd really like to have from last generation, it's Kingdoms of Amalur. I'd really like on the Switch, but I know I probably won't get that, and unfortunately they made a great game. They just spent money stupidly. So let me hear what you guys think down in the comments down there. Also, if you want to follow me anywhere else, it's as always in the description box down below. All of it. Everything. Anywhere I'm at. Except for my Switch. My Switch ID you do have to follow me on Twitter for. Yeah. Really weird. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a thumbs up. Also, if you're new to the channel, you can click that subscribe button. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired. I just got out of the shower, about ready to go to work. You can click that subscribe button and ding the little bell. If you ding the little bell, supposedly they'll let you know when I upload more content. If you don't ding the little bell, you gotta come check for it. So, guys, thanks for watching. I'll have plenty more content coming for you, and stick around.